since the 2014 energy reforms were set, a few laws were passed in order for these to be accomplished. Regarding the electricity sector, one of these laws allows now for power generation and power supply to be open to private investment. So this is one of the main issues, and it was accomplished. It's meant to be accomplished through two specific factors. First of all, in order to give certainty to the new investors in these sectors, an independent system operator was put into place so that all transactions can happen impartially. Okay. Second of all, and very importantly, what used to be a monopoly, the Comisión Federal de Electricidad (CFE), has now been unbundled. That's what the law called for, and during 2016, all these changes have been going on in order for CFE to be broken up into pieces. It was separated into generation, transmission, distribution, and power supply, and in some different companies in order to have a level ground in which new entrants can compete. Now, regarding the opportunities, where would the opportunities lie? Basically, in the power generation sector and the supply generation sector, that's where most of the opportunities lie. Private investment in these ones it's very much needed, actually. You were asking about how much investment would be required on these fronts. Well, the development program, the electricity sector development program, calls for around $130 billion in the next 15 years to be invested to further develop the system. From these $130 billion, around $100 billion is required only in the generation sector part of it. So investment, it's very much needed. We at the Ministry of Finance are looking to help investors, commercial banks, funds identify these opportunities so we can keep moving. First of all, the second long-term auction, and the results are going to be announced next week, September the 28th, and we expect that the results will be in line with the first auction. That's regarding the price of the energy that CFE is going to be purchasing for the long term. Second of all would be the stabilization of the spot market. Spot market needs new entrants, new participants in order for more electricity to be provided to the grid and a real market to happen. Third of all, the financial transmission rights market that's set to open at the beginning of next year, 2017. It's still taking form, so that's a priority. And lastly, what's a very important project, which is the new transmission line, which will run from the southern part of the country to the center of the country. This is a direct current line, and it's calling for investments of around $2 billion. So those are the main priorities right now. Budget cuts, I mean, there wasn't directly public money going into funding electric projects. That's because what's closer to the budget would be CFE. And actually CFE will not use budget allocated money to new projects. We're looking for CFE to find different ways of financing their project needs, via project financing or doing PPPs or some joint venture, but not directly from the budget. And still, most of the money that we're expecting for these new projects, we're looking for it to be private money, private investments. So the budget cuts, we don't think it's going to take that much of an effect on those projects. We have our hands full right now with the current reforms. I mean, this should take many more months to be accomplished in full. But I think that once the spot markets is stabilized and the financial transmission right is in place, CFE has, I mean, the changes that have been going on in CFE are already set. Maybe we can think about what's the sectors of transmission and distribution be open to private investment too.